Good morning, my darlings. Welcome to a new vlog. Today it's going to be a productive day here at the house. I have got a few decisions to make with a few homeware bits, and it's due to start raining after lunch. So that is when I'm going to... That's when I'm going to make some fabric face masks. I mentioned in yesterday's video and on my Instagram stories yesterday that I have got quite a lot of fabric samples. I've got even more behind me. That's my next job this morning, from all the upholstery that we're doing. And now we have to wear face masks when going out anywhere. Better late than never advice from our government. So I thought I would do a little tutorial for those later on. And I also have received my And Other Stories order, so I'm going to do a little try on haul for you. And I think I have something coming that I ordered last week from Net-a-Porter as well. So yeah, a little bit of fashion, a little bit of DIY, a little bit of home, all in today's video. But my first task this morning is looking through these fabric samples. So I've mentioned before that the mattress that we have decided to get for our master bedroom is from this company called, never know if it's Vispring or Vispring. I have a feeling it's Vispring, and they are the best, like the top notch when it comes to mattresses. And you spend half your life in bed, some more than others, but I definitely think it's a worthy investment, and we wanted our guests to feel just as comfortable when they are in the guest bedroom. So the pink room is going to have a Vispring full-on divan bed, and that means that I have to choose a fabric for the headboard and the base. I'm probably going to end up choosing this pink one, but there's some lovely neutral options as well. In yesterday's video, I was showing you some patterned fabrics, and it turns out that you have to have the fabric professionally fire tested and fire treated in order for it to be used for a headboard. So I think I'm going to go for a plain headboard fabric from the Vispring fabric archive, and then make some really beautiful patterned cushions, like bolster cushions. I've actually ordered some of the innards for a bolster cushion from Dunelm. They should be arriving any day now. So yeah, I'm going to get creative over these next few days while it is rainy outside, and hopefully that bedroom is just going to look absolutely gorgeous. So these are the fabrics to choose from for the divan and the headboard, and I don't know if you'll be able to see my screen, but there's loads of different headboard shapes. I'm probably going to go for something a bit more shaped like this one. Imagine that in pink with some really beautiful cushions. There's also some more plain options, some slightly silky ones. I've got loads of more plain colours. That's a really nice texture, but I think the pink, thank you, darling, is what I'm going to go for. What do you think, darling?
I like that pink. It's quite soft, isn't it?
And imagine if we got, let me get the fabric samples.
Oh no, I like that a lot.
So if we were to get this lovely, it's called Touch Rose, I think. Yeah, Touch Rose fabric for the divan and the headboard. And then if I was to make some bolster cushions with a really beautiful patterned fabric like this one, which is the Sanderson Maycop fabric. Chara was just saying I've ordered some of those like cylindrical bolster cushions from Dunelm. Yeah. So that could look gorgeous.
There is a really nice fabric you've got there that I think would work better than that. Personally, I think that's a little bit old woman's house. It is. Whereas this one...
No, not that one. Really?
I like that one, because I think that could... Oh, actually, no, the pink's wrong.
Wrong shade of pink.
Hang on, there was one.
I know the one you mean,
really
but
liked.
I don't know if I like it.
Really? Yeah. I actually think that's quite nice.
I love that one, but again, it's not the right tone of pink.
Do you think?
I absolutely love this fabric, and I'm determined to make some cushions out of it. It's called the Chalberry.
Even that's better.
Yeah, that's quite nice, actually.
No, there was one that I absolutely loved.
Is it this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, but that's probably not right, is it?
Oh, no, it wasn't that one.
Oh, no, I like this one.
That one.
Ah, yeah,
that one.
That one. I think, let's put it on here where it's more natural. I think that works well.
No, I don't think it does.
Do you not?
No.
I was thinking this would work. No, I don't think that does. I think this works well for the armchair in the family room. And then it picks up the green on the sofa.
Let's have a look.
Picks up the green on the sofa.
Oh yeah, that's a really nice combination.
Yeah.
So I could do some cushion covers out of this as well. Scatter cushions.
So I think the chair that we got for free, that we picked up on the the lane.
Yeah.
I reckon you do that. The chair in this fabric.
Yeah.
So the little arm pads and the chair. And then I reckon you get 2 quite sizable cushions.
Yeah.
For not.
Well, even that would look cute, just to draw everything in together, because then it's like the common thread.
Maybe 1 cushion here with that, and then the chair. Not then for this. I don't.
Or we could put a bolster cushion on there or something.
Yeah, because I don't think that needs many. I'd like it as it is.
I do, but I also think. Can I have the fabric? Oh, Dexy's got it.
I love this chair. That is my favourite.
Yes.
Funny.
Like if we recovered just a couple of cushions in that fabric, it would turn that sofa into the loveliest sofa.
No, that works.
Yeah.
But I think it would then be overkill to have it on this as well.
To be honest, it's so easy for me to make a cushion cover. I'll just do it anyway, and then we can like mix and match.
Yeah, I like that.
That could look stunning. Okay, it's been a couple of hours since I last vlogged. We have been doing a bit of work, and we also had the local interior designer come around and give us some ideas on fabrics for the house. I'm now going to make my lunch, which is a herb frittata, and I've shown you guys in a hyperlapse me doing it before, and I've also frequently been putting it on my Instagram stories, but seeing as you loved the segment in the last vlog, which was Charlie's roast, I thought I would do a proper little mini super quick recipe, because it really is the easiest thing. And one of the great things about it is you can pop it in the fridge, or I guess even the freezer, and have it for your lunch for the next few days as well. So what I'm starting with are 6 eggs, which I'm going to whisk up and season with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add my herbs from the garden. So we have been growing coriander, parsley, you name it, down in the garden. So Charlie has picked me some chives. I'm going to add those into the egg mixture. And then I've also got a mixture here of really fresh coriander and parsley from the garden, which I'm going to finely chop. And to be honest, you can really add whatever vegetables you like, whatever you've got a lot of. Today I'm adding in some radishes because...
You look rather radishing.
Oh my god, that felt like there was something crawling down.
You look rather radishing today.
Delightful. I'm going to be adding in some radishes because we have got absolutely loads in the fridge. So this is all going to get chopped up and added into the mixture. So I'm not using any specific quantities here, just literally whatever takes your fancy. I would say I've used about four or five radishes and a small handful of the chopped coriander and parsley. So this is all in amongst my egg mixture now. And again, this next bit, you can pick and mix whatever you like, but personally, I think this is delicious when it has a little bit of crunch in there. So I'm gonna pop a handful of walnuts. Again, I'm just gonna really quickly chop them a little bit smaller. A small handful of cranberries, and this just goes so beautifully with the coriander and the parsley and adds a really nice bit of sweetness. You don't get that sweetness all the way through the frittata, but then when you bite into a bit that's got cranberry in, it's just so lovely. And these are dried cranberries, so a nice handful of those. I think it's nice to add a little bit of spice too, so I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of ground cumin and half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and around a tablespoon of self-raising flour. So now you want to take an oven-proof frying pan. Of course, I'm using my favorite pan from Le Creuset. This is the one that we got from Design Works, and it is literally my favorite pan for everything. And I'm going to drizzle some olive oil in here, and I'm going to pop this on a low temperature for about 1 minute so it gets really nice and warm before adding my mixture. So our mixture is in the pan, and what I'm looking out for is a little bit of setting around the edges. We're very nearly there, to be honest. And then it's going to go in my top Aga. This one is around 200 degrees. I'd recommend setting your oven at around 180. That's probably a little bit better for this. And then you're going to pop it in the oven for around, I would check it after about 12 minutes, but it can be anywhere from 10, 15 up to 20, 25 minutes depending on your oven, and it will puff up really nicely like a frittata. It might flatten after it's been out of the oven for a little while, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't impact the taste. So you're going to pop this whole thing in the oven, just keep regularly checking on it, making sure the top is not browning at all, just until you can see that it's all beautifully cooked through.
I'm a hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. Hey.
You can serve your frittata with whatever you like. You could do a fresh leaf salad, you could serve it with some yogurt and some flatbread.
Smoked salmon would be beautiful.
Smoked salmon, Charlie has had it with in the past. You've had it with tuna as well, haven't you? That first
Tuna
time?
steak.
Tuna
Yeah.
steak. Really depends on your appetite and what you like. Personally, I love bread, so I am going to whiz up some flatbreads in the Thermomix just while it cooks. And I'm not going to go through this with you because it's just a Thermomix recipe, and I know if you don't have a Thermomix it could be very annoying, but DIY flatbreads are easier than you think, and I'm sure a recipe is just a Google search away. So my dough is done in the Thermomix. So the Thermomix actually has a kneading setting, so it is literally the easiest thing ever. I have cleaned my surface with my favorite. This is the Colton Willow Geranium Leaf All-Purpose Cleanser, and I think it's especially important to use a chemical-free cleaning product if you're going to be rolling stuff out on your surface. So as I've mentioned before, this has got no parabens, no SLS, it's plant-based, and of course, sorry the lighting is crazy because I'm stood in front of the window, it is refillable. So I need to buy a couple more refills of this because this is all I've got left, precious liquid, but it's great for kitchen worktops, so you're not eating off a surface that has been cleaned with chemicals. So I'm going to pop a little bit of flour on the surface. Carefully extricate the blades. And then I'm going to roll this into 8 flatbread balls.
Don't take it personal, we just building. It's my season, lay foundation. Make a name for generations, please, and make a, then take a break or a little vacation and chasing blues away.
It has been about 15 minutes and I've just got the frittata out of the Aga and it is looking scrumptious. It is very voluminous right now, but it might flatten a tiny bit, just starting to go a little bit brown on top. That is exactly how we want it.
You got my need, 'cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus.
This would be really lovely with perhaps a little dip. I will probably end up coming back for another piece of frittata. Charlie didn't want any today, which means that this will also be my lunch tomorrow. I've still got 3 flatbreads to cook, but another 2 are on the Aga now. There's one here that I finished. What I will do is allow these to cool down. Lexi! I'll allow these to cool down to room temperature, and then I'll actually freeze them just in one of my stasher bags, and then I can defrost, pop in the Aga to have with my lunch for the next few days as well. Well, would you look at this? My 3
Just having a
favorite
moment.
boys.
They are
Yawning is contagious, you see.
the best pals.
We're best friends.
We've got very smelly breath.
We've got very bad
We
breath
could
because
really
we've
do
been
with a
eating
gig with Colgate or Sensodyne or one of the
Daddy,
many leading market brands.
We're
Arm & Hammer.
Oral-B ambassadors.
Oral-B. We really do need dog toothpaste. Oh,
Fragrant.
boring.
I think it would be safe to say that these 2 little boys very much like their new sofa. Dexter is just slumped up on this side, but young Master Chicken has got everything on display. You cheeky boy. I'm sorry, darling, have I disturbed you? Have I disturbed you from your beauty sleep, young man? Hello darlings, so it's a few hours later since I last spoke to you, and now that it's clouded over, I'm finally going to do the face masks. I'm going to do a few different designs. I've seen a few tutorials on YouTube that I'm going to try, and I've got a few different sizes of fabric, so I thought I would just get creative and I can let you know which designs and tutorials I find the most useful, and I'll leave them linked down below. I have just done a little bit of a warm-up of sewing and ironing and DIYing with the knee pad rest for the gardening. I actually cheated and used fabric glue to pop it on the actual pad because my sewing machine, the foot doesn't actually lift up high enough for me to fit it underneath, so hopefully that'll be fine. But I did manage to find one of my face masks that I managed to get on eBay before everything went totally crazy. So I'm actually going to unpick this and kind of copy the design of this one for my first fabric one. So this is the fabric from the old face mask. As you can see, it's literally just a square with folds in it, and it happens to be the exact same size as this fabric sample which I have from Peony and Sage. So I'm just going to start by ironing in the same places. I can't believe that they are the exact same size. So yeah, I'm just going to iron the folds in, and then we will go about attaching the elastics. I've done my practice one, I'm going to share with you guys how to make a super duper easy face mask at home. Obviously these are not medical top-notch quality, it's just something that you can do at home to protect yourself and others. So these are the bits and bobs that you will need. Some fabric scissors would be ideal, but any scissors will do. A tape measure, again, any old ruler will do. Some ribbon or elastic, depending on whether you want to tie behind the back of your neck or if you want to have elastic behind the ears. Some fabric samples, if you've got any lying around the house, then fantastic. Otherwise, an old t-shirt. Basically, you just want to make sure the fabric is breathable. You don't want to be getting all hot and sweaty behind your mask, so natural fabrics are definitely going to be better here. If you absolutely don't have anything, then there are a few websites like Peony and Sage, Rose and Foxgloves, where you can order fabric samples. Just make sure the sample size is going to be big enough. And then you might want a pen as well to make some markings. If you've got a sewing machine, that's just going to make it a little bit neater and a little bit faster. But don't stress if you don't have one, because you can also obviously sew by hand, or a really quick and easy thing to do is use fabric glue, obviously really sparingly. So let me show you how to do it. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is cut yourself a rectangle of fabric. Mine is approximately 15 centimeters by 21 centimeters, and make sure to keep your cuttings as well. Then just make a tiny little mark on your fabric every 3.5 centimeters. So you should have 3 little marks on your fabric. Now what we're going to do is create a fold at each of these little marks and iron that fold down. When you've done one, just open it up again and again create a fold in the same direction, ironing it down each time. So darlings, when you've done that, it should look like this, and then you can just have a little play, and obviously don't worry, anything can be unironed and re-ironed, but you just want to try folding it so that each fold kind of comes to halfway above the fold above it. So eventually you'll be left with some pleats just like this. So let me show you that again. So these are the 3 folds that we've just done, this one here, this one here, and this one here. I'd start at the bottom one. Each fold is going to be around 2/3 of a centimeter. Just press it down to begin with. And don't worry, you can play around, do this as many times as you want. And then when you've got it nice and neat, you can go in again with the iron. So darlings, the next step really depends on how neatly you want to finish your mask. Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier. This one I actually wanted to have a fabric border all the way around just to neaten it off. But what you could do is actually just create a little fold and sew along the edge there to finish the top and the bottom. But we're always going to have to create a little fabric fold so that we can add our ear loops or head ties on the edges. So I'm going to show you the option with the fabric border all the way around. What I'm going to do to start with is fold around 3/4 of a centimeter from the top and iron this down. You might want to trim the bottom a little bit and then iron the folds down so it's nice and neat, and then it should look like this when you flip it round. So now darlings, we're going to do the first bit of sewing. So what I would recommend is actually doing the top bits first. You've got to remember to have the right sides of the fabric facing each other. So I've actually got a different fabric here which I'm going to use for my border. This one's a little bit thicker, so it's going to give it a little bit of structure. What I'm going to do is line the front side of the fabric against the front of the mask and make sure they line up perfectly here. Then I'm just going to sew around 1/2 centimeter, a really straight line across this edge. So now darlings, I'm just going to lie this flat and iron down this seam. Now I've flipped it over again and we're going to cut around 1 centimeter above that last seam. Alright darlings, so it should be looking like this now. So what we're going to do is basically repeat that on the bottom side. So taking the bit of fabric for the border, placing the right sides together, and we're going to create a stitch really nice and straight along this line here. Alright darlings, it should be looking a little something like this with your border along the top and the bottom now. You guessed it, it's pretty much the same process on the sides. However, we're going to add our elastic or our ribbon to make our ear or head ties. So what we need to do now is line up our elastic. So you want to have it facing the inside of the mask. You can pop a little bit of tape down here if that'll help you, and make sure your elastic is around 1 centimeter, a little bit more than 1 centimeter from the top and 1 centimeter from the bottom. So once you've done that on both sides, it should be looking like this. So you guessed it, we're now going to iron down the seams once again and create our final folds. So then once you've done that, darlings, you can flip it over and it should look pretty much like your face mask. What you can do for these last edges that we've ironed, you can either sew along the edges if you don't mind seeing the stitching, or you could use a little bit of fabric glue, and that is your finished face mask.
Wow, that's epic. Well done.
Okay, so this is one of the finished masks. You could make it a little bit wider depending on your face shape, but because of the pleats, you can kind of pull it up, pull it down, and make it stretch to contour your face. Now that I've got the basic routine down, I'm going to do a few more of these, play around with a few different materials. I'm going to do one in silk. I think that could be a really nice breathable material. But yeah, not bad for a first try. While I was whipping up the last mask, Charlie was whipping up a chicken barbecue. So we have got some nice tortilla wraps, some Asian kind of marinated chicken, yum, and some halloumi and leftover tabbouleh. We seem to have an audience. This is the mini craft project I was working on earlier. So it's the garden knee pad. You might remember a few weeks ago I pinned together some fabric and I was going to do a kind of patchwork effect. Since then I have got a few more samples of slightly thicker fabrics, and they were also a little bit bigger. So I thought I would just stitch those together a little bit more neatly. It's still obviously quite rough and ready, just a simple little patchwork, and this will be great for kneeling on when I'm pulling out the weeds or heading down to our herb garden. Speaking of which, Charlie and I are about to go down for our end of the day walk, and we're going to be popping these in the various herbs in the herb garden. We got these from a website called Garden Trading, which I think we first discovered because they were advertising in Cotswold Life magazine. Turns out magazine advertising does still work, but yeah, I thought they were quite cute, so I wrote the herb names on them earlier, and we're just going to go and pop them down in the herb garden. We've now labelled all of the herbs down in the bottom of the garden, so we're just using our extra markers for the herbs on the shelving outside the back door. I think it looks really cute. Sadly, we lost our chives to the aphids, even though I did do the homemade remedy of natural washing up liquid and, natural hand soap and water. They very much did not survive, so I think we're going to have to chuck these.
I think chives are maybe not one, maybe they're better in the bed.
Yeah.
Because the chives that we put in the bed do really well.
Yeah.
So.
Touch wood, the chives down. Oh, you literally just sprayed me.
Sorry.
Yeah, touch wood, the chives down in the bottom of the garden are pretty darn good. That hydrangea is absolutely blossoming. Cute.
Doesn't it look good?
Yeah. You used to do a little Instagram picture in this corner. This is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really cute. Here's a question to my audience. Do you say oregano or oregano? What do you say, Char?
Oregano.
Oregano. So do I. But I think my US audience will say oregano.
I do prefer a lot of English sayings, like sidewalk. I prefer pavement, even though sidewalk actually is more logical.
Yeah.
However, I do love coriander being called
cilantro.
Cilantro. Cilantro just sounds better.
Yeah, and what's aubergine?
Oh no, that doesn't sound as good. Eggplant.
Oh yeah, no.
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 But cilantro.
Cilantro.
But they're onto a winner with that one.
That's so weird. Those words are not even remotely similar.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably to do with who discovered them, really.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's weird that people use mostly English words around the world.
Well, I hate to say it, darling, but it's because we colonised everywhere.
Oh, it's terrible, yeah.
Yeah. So our thyme is flowering.
Yeah. Rosemary will flower as well.
Oh shoot, I've just realised. Are these going to fade with water? Because they're chalk paint. We need to get permanent marker on them.
Yeah, these ones will.
Oh dear.
Well, yeah, they will, but it doesn't look too bad, and you can go over them.
I reckon it will rain one day, and then we'll come out and it'll be blank.
Maybe.
Whoops. So we're gonna do our usual evening walk around the garden. I've just made myself a lovely, ooh, got a dangly bit. I've just made myself a lovely fresh mint tea. I didn't do the end of the stories unboxing like I said I was going to, but didn't get around to it, so I'll show you that tomorrow. The pieces are really lovely. But darlings, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye.